GearNetwork.com.
4, 3.
No, we don't say 3, guys. We don't say 3.
We were running back.
You know what? In showbiz, we don't say 3, 2, or 1 because it's not professional, and it gives us a nice, big, solid segment of silence before we start anything. So
You're not taking this from Wayne's World, are you?
Oh, shut up. 5, 4.
Yeah, I feel like it should have a 3.
Oh my God, we'll never get through one of these. Fuck it, I'm going. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Misguided Musings. I am Jordan, again joined by Tom and Matt. Episode we have a special guest host, Mr. Jesse Miles, who is a stand-up comedian from Quincy. Oddly proud of that fact. And Jesse, I was wondering if you couldn't tell us just what your proudest moment of being from Quincy is.
My proudest moment from Quincy is when I moved out of there, because that means I don't have an opiate problem.
And that works out well.
Withdrawal from leaving Quincy? Way better than the withdrawal I'd feel from living in Quincy, because chances are I'd be broke.
And addicted to heroin. So some of your shows locally here for those of us in the Boston area are coming up soon. Tell us about the show that you have coming up in Manchester.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the Shack Scene Club in Manchester, New Hampshire on November 11th. That's a Wednesday. It's a great club. I haven't performed there before, but this will be my first time. I'm really excited. It's a great place. They always have a nationally touring headliner there, so it'll be a blast. So if you guys are in the Manchester area, want to come to a great comedy club on the 11th, come to the Shack Scene. And also, after that, November 18th, I'll be at the Comedy Studio in Harvard Square for anyone who is a little more local and wants to stay within the city.
Oh, that's great. That'll be a real treat to see Jesse do some of his stand-up. You can also find him on YouTube. Jesse, what's your YouTube channel?
If you just search Jesse Miles on YouTube, you'll find it. It's not the singer. There's another Jesse Miles on YouTube, and he's just does weird acoustic covers, and is not me at all.
So not the unfunny guy.
No.
Got it. Well, thanks, Jesse. It's a pleasure to have you joining us today, and I look forward to addition to this episode.
Thanks for having me.
On today's spooky episode, we have some fun stuff. It's not going to be as serious as the last couple of episodes. We are doing some talk about scary movies. We are going to do a special interview with Paranormal Expedition's own Tina Storer, and we'll be doing a Halloween candy draft. Now, the premise behind the draft is this. It's a fantasy draft. We have 20 candies that we will list prior to the draft, and we have to choose in rounds each candy that would fill our bag. That'll be a little fun, and then we'll end it out by any memorable moments from our own childhood memories on Halloween. Does that sound good, guys?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
That's good.
All right, cool. I had some interesting thoughts today while I was driving. I was driving through a tunnel in Boston. I had started to think, we place a lot of trust into the people who build that shit. What if one of those panels, just fell and then crushed my car? I would not be happy. And so you really have to kind of hope that they used not subpar building materials to create the tunnels that allow us to travel under cities. There's always seems to be some type of leaky panel, and there's always fucking water in these tunnels, and it always freaks me out, because what happens if the tunnel collapses and then fills with water and then I drown? That would not be fun.
Or you have to have Sylvester Stallone bail you out.
Right. Well, I don't know if he could do it anymore because he got beat up in that fifth movie.
Yeah, Rocky didn't win. And didn't that exact thing happen 7 years ago, where a chunk of the ceiling just fell on a lady's car?
It did.
Yeah, but I think that they fixed that. I'm hoping.
Well, they put it back up. They fixed the panel, but
they just hosed it off and re-glued it.
They used gum. They're sitting there with gum and duct tape. How do we fix this without spending a lot of money?
Let's put some super glue on it.
Yeah, Gorilla Glue. Yeah, so that was my interesting thought for the week.
I always thought that in the tunnels, cities, there was some underground people that lived in there. Like there was just like a colony of like
Hobbits.
400 people. Yeah,
There are in New
mutants, and they just like lived underneath there, and there was a whole civilization that one of these days there were going to be some sort of
Revolt.
rebellion
Yeah.
that's going to come out of there, and there's going to be like a pile up, and all of a sudden, like these people come out of nowhere. They come
tunnel
in and they just
Tunnel yeah.
people. Yes,
You know,
and they just murder
you need to
and
look up
rape and just destroy everybody that's in there, and then they just come for everyone else, and it's just like. It comes out of nowhere. There's like thousands of them. They've just been breeding. They have like 30
And what is
children.
the title of your script?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a dream or something. I was like,
No, this was
pretty
just a thought I had, Like, I think there's tunnel people living under their civilization. What happens if they come out?
So
that was
you know
part
what
of
you
the
need to do
daylight.
is, have you guys ever
They'd
heard
be
of the
pretty
reptilian
angry.
theory?
The reptilian theory? No.
Yeah. Okay. So I had one of these. I had a rep in one of my stores for work who told me the theory of reptilians, and there's a living society built under an airport in Chicago. These reptilian people live under there, and they're being like kept down, but they're being breeded so that they're like a superior race. It's really, really an awkward thing, but you can actually look it up. There's a lot of people who actually believe in like these reptilian people, and it's pretty fucked up.
Like
Is it like a
Cold-blooded?
philosophy, reptilian? Like, I want to live in a reptilian society where everything's slow moving and
warmed by the sun. Oh, wait, we're
There's
all
a
warmed by the
fetish
sun.
for everything, Matt.
They all have instead of beds, they have like heating rocks.
Well, have either one of you guys heard about there's literally a thing called the Mole People in New York, and since New York's got a bunch of underground subway stations that are abandoned, homeless people have
yeah.
moved underground and actually set up entire like communities under the city.
Those are Matt's tunnel people. Look, Matt, it's not original.
It's a
Your
real
thoughts
thing.
aren't original.
Is it like Futurama, Jesse?
No, that's a real thing.
I'd kind of want
that's
to go under
creepy.
there and see like a half octopus, half man.
No, you wouldn't. You'd think it would be cool, but we pass homeless people on the street every day. You'd be like, oh no, now I have to ignore everyone I see.
I wouldn't want to like live down there. I just kind of want to take a peek and see if there's like any
I
mutants
wouldn't-
down there.
I wouldn't want to go down there for 20 minutes and have the whole community be like, he looks like he has a wallet.
Well, so as we sit here on Sunday night, you guys are going to be listening to us on Halloween. And so we decided that we would put together a special lineup for this Halloween episode. I'm going to start off with my top 5 horror movies, or the scariest movies, or most movies that make me the most uncomfortable to watch. And I really don't want to say in no particular order, because I have a clearly defined number 1, and I have a pretty clearly defined number 2, but after that it's kind of a mishmash. They all jump up and down. So I'm going to start from the bottom up. The Exorcist, the original, the 1973 film, I probably saw that when I was like 10 years old because my brothers like torture. I freaked the fuck out when that woman's like her head spun and she spit pea soup everywhere. I was like, that's it. I will never sleep again. And then I went to sleep and forgot about it until the next day.
have you had pea soup since?
I actually have never eaten pea soup ever. I pride myself on that fact
You're
because
not missing out on much.
I didn't think I was.
Doesn't seem like anything anyone would enjoy.
Right. It's kind of like tomato
That's probably
soup.
why
It's
she was
just-
throwing it up.
But when you're a kid, like, and you see that movie, like that forever will be ingrained as a movie that just terrified me when I watched it as I was younger. Number 4 for me actually was Psycho. I don't know if you guys felt the same way about this movie that I did. It was kind of a weird movie, and I never really got it when I was younger. And then I started watching it more and was like, this is even more fucked up than
Person with mommy issues.
right. Yeah, well, I mean, just a little. So
A little bit of incest.
I just love how, in his delusion, even though his mom's dead and only exists in his head, he still has to do chores for her. Coming mother, I'm bringing your soup. Like, why are you still indebted to her?
Why are you making her soup? She's dead.
For a killer, he was very submissive.
Did you guys ever see the shot-for-shot remake starring Vince Vaughn?
I didn't, and you know what? I'm not
tend
sure
to
that I
avoid
really want to know.
movies he's in.
The next one on the list is Nightmare on Elm Street. The only thing that creeps me out is when the bed sucks the kid in.
I can't say that I've seen that movie.
You've never seen?
No?
Oh my god! So, picture you're watching, a movie like this terrifying movie where this guy abducts kids, and you're like, oh, that's cool. It's a great movie. And then there's a bed that like sucks this kid in, and then he just dies.
It was Johnny Depp.
Yes, it was Johnny Depp.
Oh,
That was,
man.
And as a kid, you're like, if
I'm
I
never
get
going
in
to
my
bed.
and go to sleep, is my bed gonna fucking eat me? Burp up feathers and shit? Like, I mean, I guess it's an ironic depiction because beds don't really have feathers in them.
It
They used to at
burps
some
up
point.
feathers. It burps up a geyser of blood.
You're right, it does. I mean, I'm trying to be a little bit less gruesome, but so anyway,
It's a horror movie.
But the whole premise of the movie is that like these kids fall asleep, and in the dream world, this guy with a claw hand that he's manufactured, much like Jesse does for a day job, completely just fucking demolishes kids, and they have to try and stop him, and it's pretty fucked up. So that one was definitely, I had to feel like it had to be in there.
Can we
So now-
clarify that my day job is making prosthetics, not demolishing little kids? I don't know if that point was clearly made by you, Jordan.
I mean, tit for tat. So,
No, way more than tit for tat, Jordan.
well, instead of driving around in a van that says free candy on it, you're driving around in a van that says free Wi-Fi because it's not the 1980s anymore. So,
Oh God, is that how they get millennials?
Exactly.
number 2 for me. Love this movie to this day. I could sit and watch it on repeat all day. The Shining. That should be on everybody's top 5 list.
That was my number one.
It's a great movie, but it's subpar to my number 1. And the only reason I say it's some part of my number 1 is because my number 1 movie is probably the one singular movie that I've watched, and you can only watch the original. If you watch the remake, you don't nearly appreciate it as much. Is The Audition. So The Audition, you have to sit through it because you watch it and then you're afraid you're going to miss something, so you watch it more and more and more. But it attacks like psychologically. It fucks with your mind. And it's about this guy who basically, his son wants him to begin dating again. They create like an audition for women to become his new wife.
This takes place in India?
No, it's in Japan actually. It's a
okay.
Japanese film. This girl injects this guy with a paralytic and then tortures him with needles because nobody's loved her, I guess, right? And so the fucking most uncomfortable feeling that you get is when she sticks needles into his eyes and she giggles and like she's laughing and you're like, I can't watch that. And then she begins to cut his foot off with piano wire, and then I was like,
Oh.
yeah, right. And so yeah, it's pretty fucked up. It's a really fucked up film. But if you don't watch it, you're doing yourself a disservice because it is probably the best, most fucked up film I've ever watched.
It sounds fucked up. Needle torture. Ugh.
Yeah, right. Needles.
Isn't that called acupuncture?
Well, I mean, this particular form of needles, it's like they're almost like syringes. It's just it's uncomfortable. Anyway, who wants to go next?
I'm just going straight to my my number 1. I mean, I was also younger when I first saw it. Blair Witch Project. Man, that thing, come on,
It's not a scary
scared
movie.
the crap out of me because
Come on, it's just a stupid
No.
film.
You can't mess with somebody else's fears.
I
Go ahead,
fear
Tom.
getting lost in the woods. That is a scary thought. I mean, just you're at one point you were walking, and then like all these weird things start happening around you, and you end up like some abandoned house that's like sort of haunted and weird stuff's going on. That was a scary freaking movie, especially in like the night when the tent would start moving and stuff. Oh, yeah, that one messed with me hardcore. And Paranormal Activity was probably my number 2. They were both, the crazy thing is they're both low budget films, but for some reason, like they just, I don't know, they like hit a nerve, you know what I mean, with me, and they really had me on the edge of my seat. I don't know why, but for some reason, like the gore doesn't get me as much. I don't know 100% why, but it's really like the thought of the unknown that really, gets my imagination going and really puts me on the edge of my seat.
That's those are 2 movies that I wouldn't have expected from you, Tom. But
Yeah.
That's actually, I mean,
2 movies I don't respect.
Well, hey,
And by the
I'll
way,
give
it
it to
gives
the
me a
first
good
thing.
idea for a prank in the woods.
well, we had Jordan's bachelor party. You had the perfect opportunity to.
I didn't know you liked those 2 movies. I don't know anybody who said those are the 2 scariest movies I've ever
Oh
watched.
man, those 2 scared the crap out of me. And then after that, it's just full of other junk like The Ring and Saw. I think Hostel is one
Toy
of those.
Story,
You know,
I think the best prank played at your
Buzz,
bachelor
the kid.
party, Jordan, was Tom's hilarious prank of Watch Me Chop Wood.
oh man,
I was trying to make a scary movie, man. I just wanted to show you guys. It's funny. Like we keep talking about prosthetics and like almost or cutting off different limbs, but yeah, I almost chopped my knee straight off. Trying to chop wood.
Listen, you were maybe an inch down into your knee with an axe. It's not that big a deal. You missed all the major stuff, so you had like 6 stitches. Pfft, it was nothing to worry
Hangover
about.
in the Woods.
Well,
It's a really scary film.
It-
Extremities are cut off.
hour and a half ride to the hospital is a scary
Somebody
thing. to
goes
watch.
missing because they get ate by a
Hey,
bear.
so
They
Matt,
start
speaking of
smelling and
scary
eating their
films,
shit.
what is your list of scary films?
All right, well, mine's a little unorthodox. I decided to choose 5 films that scared the hell out of me. I in no particular order. The first movie that I find to be really scary is Forrest Gump. I mean, a disabled man who's championed on as a Renaissance man. Just really scary. I mean, imagine if like a whole bunch of mentally disabled people did that. Ugh. Pleasantville. That was a really scary movie. I mean, imagine living in a society where everybody knows everything about you. It scares the living bejesus out of me. That movie made me not want to live in the suburbs. Can you believe that? I mean, suburbs is a really nice place. It's safe. You're near wildlife. But then you got to worry about all these other Pleasantville folk. Ugh, horrible movie. Lord of the G-String, which was a softcore porn parody of Lord of the Rings, of course. One of the villains in it was named Smirnoff. I just don't like that name. That name just scared the hell out of me.
Why'd you call him a villain?
I don't know.
I'm not going to let that slide.
Much Ado
I
About
accepted
Nothing,
film.
which was based on a Shakespearean play. Keanu Reeves doing Shakespeare. It was terrible. It was horrible. It scared me. Just him doing, much ado about nothing. Does that art? No, it was just, oh my God. You could just hear the awkwardness and the horrible acting. I mean, awful. And then the last one, The World's End, which was part of the Cornetta trilogy. I loved those previous 2 other movies, Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. I thought this movie was pretty bad. A Bar Crawl, that is an anti-alcoholic film about a suicidal person who tries to have a reunion in which they try to go to every bar, and by the end of the movie you don't want to ever drink another, you never want to drink again. And to me, that movie does not promote one of my favorite things, and I think it's a burden, and I think it's a really scary film, because I think a lot of people see that movie and they go, oh, I don't want to go drinking.
That's a really interesting take.
I saw
on
a lot
the,
myself
scary
in that
movies.
Simon Pegg character, so, it kind of, hit me over reality. I had anxiety for a whole week afterwards. I had to go see a shrink. It was pretty bad. So that movie has really, left a mark on my life. So those are my 5 lists.
I can't
So Matt,
even.
in school, were you the kid that just like didn't understand the homework assignment? They were like, write a report on Huck Finn, and you wrote about why you love Jonathan Taylor Thomas because he was in the movie.
I don't even know who Jonathan Taylor Thomas is, man.
I don't even know. I don't have Matt. You left me speechless. Jesse, did you understand the homework assignment?
I went more straightforward. I kind of like his outside take on it. But yeah, I did my top 5. Number 1, as I said before, was The Shining, because that movie, I don't know, it still creeps me out to this day, and I think it's the soundtrack.
Oh, the soundtrack is so
That's
good.
what it is. There's not one moment in that movie where the background music doesn't like make you feel unsettled. You're like unsettled the entire time you're watching that. And Jack Nicholson losing it, he's like worst stepfather ever.
I've never seen that movie either.
Oh my God, Tom! what? And that's why.
Sounds like a real millennium.
Well, but let me tell you.
That's why you're afraid of the Blair Witch Project.
Let me tell you why. I don't like. I'm just going to put this out. I don't like scary movies. They're scary.
It's not a horror
really?
or a gory
Thanks,
movie.
Captain
I said
Obvious.
he's the type of person that found Toy Story frightening, with that kid who like mutated all the
Was
toys.
Sid. That was his
Sid, yes, I
Sid
thought
the
he
Kid.
was-
Number 2, I went with The Thing, because, again, another movie that holds up, and like the paranoia of that movie of not knowing who's the
I like that
actual
movie,
thing.
but it was a little cheating. I thought, it was basically Alien and then the Antarctic.
It was its own thing. It was more paranoid based than Alien.
The
because
creature
Alien, they
kind of
knew it
looked
was.
a little...
Yeah, the difference between that and Alien is the alien was always an alien. The creature in that could have been the person you were sitting next to, which was awesome. They have that great scene where they have everyone tied down in the chairs and they're testing their blood to see which one's the actual. It's great. And
It's
then
like
the
a
guy
grill
gets his
on
hands bit
steroids.
off by a stomach. A stomach with teeth.
Yeah. Oh man, that's.
Kind of looked like
Well-
a creepy vagina, too.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like, what's that, those family, the Duggars? It probably looks like what the
we're
Duggars'
bringing
mommy
no.
looks like her vagina. It's
The
just like
Duggars
some
are in it.
mutated squid with tentacles coming out.
We're
like a
talking
large
scary
teapot.
movies, and then that's like the thing about pedophilia is.
Isn't it? Well, that's a
You've had
scary
21
TV show,
babies
right?
coming out your vagina. It'll look very mutated.
So
All right, we let you get through your
Can you-
5,
you know,
Matt. I got
let's-
3 left.
let's get back on track.
God
I
damn
really
it.
don't. I think my favorite part of that, though, I got to be honest, was when he said the Duggars' mummy. Because, like, Matt, do you call your mother mummy? Like, hello, mummy.
No, I hate
Because I'm
mom.
British.
Hi, Mommy.
Mommy's the name of people I disrespect. So, like, I obviously it's like a sign
Mommy,
of
can I have
disrespect.
another sandwich?
All right, Jesse, what do you? What else you got?
Number 3, I considered Hellraiser 1 and 2 one movie, basically. If you watch them back to back, they're
I love
seamless,
Hellraiser.
and those were creepy as hell. My number 4 was Hatchet, which is a movie made by someone called Adam Green. Used to work at Newbury Comics, and that was basically a modern 80s slasher film, and it was really fucking good. But it is one of those like gory movies where it's more gory than scary. But my number 5 was Halloween 2, and that's because the whole thing takes place in a hospital, and I watched that as a little kid, and to this day, hospitals creep me out. You put a serial killer attacking like a summer camp, that's fine. You put him in a hospital where you're supposed to be getting better and completely safe, it fucked with me for years.
You know what the thing about hospitals that creeps me out is that there's a ton of people in there with disease, and so
Staph infections. You gotta
right,
worry
and
about.
so I mean, you could be like cut open on a table, and you're actually like at risk of getting even more sick. I completely understand like a fear of hospitals, and they actually freak me out on a whole different level because I just people go in and they sometimes don't come out because
Why
of-
alleyway surgeries are a much more safer route. I mean, granted, you're probably dealing with a surgeon that is, obviously like a surgeon who has lost their license, but you get a less chance of getting a staph infection.
Not to beat a dead horse, but I'm just going to give a couple of quick movies that I think were just the worst ever remakes of haunted films and scary films. Obviously, I think the Amityville Horror, the new one in 2005, fucking train wreck. Ryan Reynolds should have no business being in that movie whatsoever. Nightmare on Elm Street in 2010 that Michael Bay has no...
Michael Bay made that?
It was produced by Michael Bay's horror production company. So yes, I'm going to just go ahead and say Michael Bay should never have touched that film.
Did things explode?
The Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage in 2006.
That one's almost so bad it's good, though.
It's a terrible, terrible, awful movie.
You said Nicolas Cage is Nick
punches
Cage.
a woman in the face while dressed in a bear suit. I love that movie.
And then I'm going to go with the 2006 Omen. That one also terrible film.
That's a foreshadow for something I'm going to mention later, but go ahead.
So I really think the worst horror movie of all time is a Santa film. Basically a movie where Santa needs to be killed. And obviously I'm drawing the blank on it, but I want to say it's like Red Christmas or something like that. Something awful and cheesy.
Did you ever see the Santa horror movie starring WCW star Bill Goldberg called Santa's Sleigh?
Yes, maybe that's it, actually. Santa's
The opening scene is him killing like B-list actors. It's the most recognizable actors in the entire movie, and the opening 5 minutes is them all getting slaughtered. And then everyone else is an unknown.
For 5 minutes.
You think it was
B-list
Jewish
actors.
propaganda?
Mel Gibson had no role in the film, so no.
No, I'm talking the opposite. It was like the Jewish organization got together and like, let's make Christmas haunting and scary.
I'm pretty sure we're not allowed to talk about that.
It's a conspiracy. Dude, that
What
was
podcast did I come on? Like, here's some spooky movies, and then Matt's just like, and the thing about the Jews is, I was like, oh!
That, Matt,
It's just a theory out there. I saw it on the net.
I thought it was a communist
I've
man.
heard it
personally.
usually shouted by Vietnam vets while they're berating me for a cigarette.
do you guys have any movies that you would like to mention, or do you think I summed them up pretty well?
Bad ones?
Yeah.
There's one remake you missed that I don't think you saw, because not a lot of people did, because it was fucking garbage, which is they remade Day of the Dead.
I did.
Starring
Yep.
Ving Rhames, who was in the great Dawn of the Dead remake, which was awesome. But it stars Ving Rhames and Nick Cannon.
Cannon.
Nick Cannon is in the remake of Day of the Dead, and it's awful.
And he's the one token black person that dies in every movie. He's the one that you want to die.
Oh, no, he absolutely does. But he
Oh,
tries
thank
to
God.
have one of those, like, badass moments, which it just doesn't. It's awful. His death isn't even satisfying.
Oh, that's so terrible.
Another one you may have missed is a Halloween I had on my best, but Halloween Season of the Witch is in my worst. Which is when they decided that they didn't need Michael Myers in Halloween, so they made a completely separate story about a mask company that sold kids haunted masks and then played a commercial on TV that made your head, like, implode with bugs and other weird creatures. It's an entire movie based around a cult that just wants to murder children and no Michael Myers to be found. So, Halloween
That's really
Season of the
disappointing.
Witch.
That is.
I saw a movie, and I don't remember the name of it, but the movie was about this girl who was, very innocent. I want to say she came from like a Christian background, and the problem with her was that her vagina actually had fangs.
Teeth.
Like
The movie is
teeth.
called Teeth.
That's what the name of the movie was. Teeth. Yeah,
I
So it
don't.
was this girl. She would like fall in love with these guys, and then one time this guy tried to rape her, and of course her vagina tore his penis apart. And then she fell in love with this guy and tore his penis away. And I just remember that movie. It was so horrifying.
So then
But
what you're telling me
in a
she needs
bad
to be a
way.
lesbian.
There's a scene where she goes to the gynecologist and he's giving her an exam and it bites his finger off and he starts screaming, "Vagina dentata!" and runs out of the room.
That scene was awesome.
So, well, that sounds like a good stop to this area. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be interviewing Miss Tina Storer from Paranormal Expeditions. And then we'll close out the night probably with our candy draft.
And now a PSA. A word you can't use. Oh, you fucking cunt. 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 Oh, you cunt.
Where's a cunt?
Are you feeling censored from using your favorite word? Or are you just feeling self-conscious on how others will perceive you from using it? Just say can't. It sounds similar. It's aggressive. and it'll get all your grievances off your chest. Listen. Oh, you effing can't. Nipples, buns, can't. I can't.
Where's Kent?
It was brought to you by the passive-aggressive PC police for a new Speak Society. What a bunch of clever cunts. I mean cunts.
All right, welcome back. And right now we are joined by Paranormal Expedition's very own Tina Storer. Tina, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am just wonderful. We still have Jesse, unfortunately, for the remainder of the episode. Tina, what is True Crime Paranormal?
So True Crime Paranormal, it is basically combining the techniques of paranormal investigating and criminal investigation. In True Crime Paranormal, we introduce biotechnology to the paranormal field through luminol, chemiluminescence, and Rachel, she's actually an expert in serial killers and forensics, and she could look at crime scenes and basically tell you who did it. So yeah, we kind of want to focus on the victims rather than the serial killers or murderers, but we want to kind of bring their stories back to life and see what we can piece together with paranormal evidence. This
most recent movie of yours was in Freetown, and what were you focusing on in Freetown?
So we really focused on the New Bedford highway killings back in the early 80s. Basically, 11 women were killed, only 9 were found. We focused on the Freetown State Forest, which is pretty much well known for rape and murder and cult attacks. And we wanted to, it's very possible that these bodies were dumped in the Freetown State Forest. So we wanted to see if we could make contact with these ladies, especially us being women. We wanted to kind of bring their stories back to life and keep their memory alive. And the evidence that we captured is just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never seen like a concept of the show where they have mixed like real stories and real like investigation with the ghost hunting. Like, who came up with the idea to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been like they've tried to do it on TV, maybe not so successfully, but this has always been a dream of ours. Like since PXP first formed in 2010, like we've always wanted to focus on these serial killers and these crazy crimes, but kind of give it our own twist, like we do always. And all the time, you see these serial killers. They're the ones that get the movies made about them. They get the books written about them. But can you name one of John Wayne Gacy's victims or Ted Bundy's victims? Most likely not. And so we wanted to really focus on them. That's what's kind of different about our approach is, yes, we do touch on the suspects, the killers, and all that stuff, but we really try to make these victims human again. You know, especially with Freetown in the New Bedford highway killings, these women, they were prostitutes, and they go down in history as prostitutes. They lose their name, they lose their identity. So we wanted to these were mothers, sisters, daughters, and kind of bring that human element back to it.
See, I like the idea of that. A lot of media attention now is more focused on the person who committed the crime as opposed to the victims they have, especially with everything that's happened like recently. Right. You know everything about the people who did it, but nothing about the people it affected.
Exactly. So that's what we kind of wanted to do and pay our respects to them. And, it's still an unsolved murder crime, this whole thing. So that's kind of the scarier part about it. And we actually worked with police on this, and we wanted to, if we could catch any evidence on it, that would, give a lending hand. I know it's probably not super credible, but I think it is. I don't care. But
that brings up a good point about the credibility aspect.
Right.
How do you explain this to skeptics and say that the work that you guys are doing is real? I mean, without us being there to experience it with you, and we will only see it on screen, what type of information can you lend that would maybe make someone less skeptical of paranormal investigating?
Right. Well, I completely understand why someone would be a skeptic. It's hard if you haven't had your own experience yet. We actually, our third member, PXP consists of me, Rachel Hoffman, and Danielle Medina, Rachel's sister. And Danielle's actually a skeptic. It takes a lot for her to think it's paranormal at all. Like, she basically needs, like, the heavens to open up and someone to grab her, pretty much. But I wish I could take everyone that's a skeptic on investigation with me. But this equipment that we're using, it's detected to read electromagnetic fields, and especially in the Freetown State Forest where there's no streetlights, there's no electricity at all, you're not getting interference. And the devices we use, like my favorite one's the Ovilus. It's loaded with the English dictionary, and you could put it in phonetics mode. And the words that we get, one of the victims was Sandra Botello. She was 15 years old. She was a cheerleader. She was taken one day, and she was found tied to a tree with her bike next to her. The evidence we got that was coming through, we were like, oh, who is someone here with us right now? And it said, Sandra Bike, young, 15. And it was saying, like, branches, tree, and just the stuff it was saying, you can't dismiss it. Like, you can't make it up. I wish I could if I knew how to do it. But it's just the evidence we catch is just undismissive. And the things that we see as well, like, we're both sensitive, me and Rachel. We see and hear, feel everything in the spirit realm, I guess you could say, and get the evidence to kind of back that up at the same time. The science to back up the spiritual part of it is pretty incredible. So I guess you just kind of have to, like, trust us. We're we keep our integrity, and we try to be, as real as possible. So
yeah, because especially in modern times, it's got to be hard to market something like that to people, because I feel like the more time goes on, more people are kind of less believing of everything. There are a lot more skeptics out there. We came off seeing, like, the show Ghost Hunters, where we spent 7 seasons watching plumbers be like, hey, it's your plumbing.
Right. That's what I don't like. I know the people from Ghost Hunters, but I do say it's kind of a slap into the face to the owners of these locations, because who are they to go in there for 1 or 2 nights and deem your place is not haunted? It's, as an investigator, anyone would know that you go on these investigations and one night you won't catch anything. The next night you get friggin' poltergeist coming out of nowhere. I'm all about debunking as much as possible, but to totally take these people's experiences and basically tell them that it's not real, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, now, bringing up Ghost Hunters, I'm curious. Now, you were on a show with Zach Baggins. What is your personal feeling on the way that he does his investigations? I've noticed that there's a lot of controversy with the way that he will sometimes come out and almost attack spirits to get reactions. How do you guys feel about that?
In the paranormal field, that is known as provoking. And Zach Bagans, he's a great guy. I had a blast on Paranormal Challenge. He's done a lot for the ghost hunting community, kind of bring it to light. But I will say it's kind of a dangerous thing what he's doing. Provoking, I just think, is the most disrespectful thing. These are someone's father. I think me and my team, we believe you treat the living and the dead the same way, with respect. And you're not going to get anything by... And I call them people because that's what they were. That's what's different about us. A lot of people feel the same way that we do. It's just, there's no need for it. It's all show. Like, calm down. There's no need to provoke. And you're just
it's good to hear you say that, because I personally can't stand it, but that's me.
Yeah, it's just, I guess it'll call for it. I really don't see a need for it, even if you're dealing with, like, a terrible, terrible convict or something that, you don't want to open yourself up to that.
It's like the townie approach of ghost hunting. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to insult them and see what he does. We'll see. I'll get a reaction, whether it's good or bad.
You can't do nothing about it. It's like such a tough guy thing, because they're not going to fight back. Well, they sometimes they can, but But I'm more afraid of the living than the dead, personally. That's just me.
Now, going back to what you said about debunking, has there ever been a case where you've walked in and like maybe one night in, you're just like, you know what? I think this person might have just be mishearing things or want it to be haunted more. Like, is there a case where like as soon as you walk in, you're like, oh no, this isn't haunted one bit?
Personally, that I'm a full believer. I see these things. I talk to dead people, but I love to debunk because I love science and I love coming to a realistic conclusion. And a lot of times, it's really hard to debunk sometimes. But I'm trying to think of like an instance that we were able to. A lot of times we can't prove these people wrong. But I will say we did deal with we call it the House That Speaks, a family that was a young girl that was kind of being tormented by a young spirit, and I definitely think psychologically she needed help. Not like, oh, she's going crazy, but I think there's a lot of issues within the family that needed to be addressed. I think that like debunking certain things there could have been like a cry for attention type thing, but there was definitely some heavy stuff going on in that house. But I think a change of mental attitude could have definitely helped. But yeah, it was kind of crazy in that house. It was nuts.
Yeah, because that's kind of an odd reaction for the parents to have, where it's like, oh, our daughter's hearing voices, ghosts.
Right. Well, I guess if you're in that community, it's very easy to not jump to that conclusion, but she was seeing stuff because I was seeing the same stuff as her at the same time.
But there seemed to be a little more going on there.
Yeah, the scratching, it could have been self-inflicted, getting bite marks. I'm not a dental expert. I can't read bite marks, so.
Oh, you're not? I was just going to send you my teeth molds.
Yeah, no, that'd be great to rule Jesse out of some. Let's not get into that right now. Some of the guys here were talking, and what we were kind of wondering was what got you into paranormal investigating, and
right.
Obviously you have a sensitivity to it. So when did you notice that? Is that what really got you interested in paranormal investigating?
When I was about 15, a couple different occasions, but I heard it say my name. It shit out of me. Before PXP, I was horrified, deathly afraid of the dark. Everyone looks at me if you had known me, you knew me when I was younger. I was a very nervous little kid, and I was outgoing, but still very nervous. I was wait, Tina, you're ghost hunting? What the fuck? Who are you?
I actually kind of thought that when I first saw that you were getting into it, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, it's kind of a random thing for me, but a thing to conquer. I'm known as the brave group because when we first started, stuff scared the shit out of me. I couldn't even. I remember the night before my first investigation, I gave myself okay, I'm going to walk up the stairs, dark. Let's see if I can do this. I got about halfway up and I had to run back down and turn on the lights. I was myself in morgues and meat lockers, all this stuff, and no problem. Last night I locked myself in a closet with a bunch of dirty clothes. That was horrifying, but not really.
I mean, the smell alone would turn me off.
Yeah, I smell like Goodwill. Help me.
No one wants to smell like Goodwill.
No, I'm a thrift shopper, but I don't want to smell like it.
Right. You guys have done a lot of this investigating. Have you guys ever looked into the case of Casper the Friendly Ghost? I mean, is that based loosely on a true story?
It actually is. If I remember correctly, it is. He was a young boy, and he was killed, I think, in a car accident or something. Or not, it couldn't have been because it was a really long time ago. I forget the origins, but it's definitely based on a true story. I know that.
No kidding.
Holy crap.
It is. Yeah, it is, and it's kind of horrifying that they made a TV show about it.
Who would have figured that question would lead to a real answer?
I didn't think it was going to. I was almost against that question.
Aren't you glad that we ask these things, Jesse?
I was wrong, as I often am.
You know what? We ask the tough questions here on Misguided Musings.
Yeah, there we go.
Wow, Casper the Friendly Ghost. I'm actually kind of shocked by that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up the real origin. It's.
All right, well, while
Did
you're
you have
looking up
three
the
uncles that were wacky as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah, right.
So while you're looking that up, if there's something strange going on in my neighborhood, who should I call?
Paranormal Expeditions.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Just making sure. Now, do you guys have a 24-hour hotline? Or
Well, we have our Facebook page. It's Paranormal Expeditions with an X, no E, and we all are on that. I'm a social media whore, so I'm constantly on that. So if anyone needs anything, we answer right away, and we always want to help people. That's kind of what we're all about.
So you brought up the term, so I feel like I have to ask about it because I've seen it. Doing some research for questions and whatnot. What exactly is a para-whore, and how did you turn it into a positive experience?
Para-whore is basically tries to imply that a girl will go to conventions and sleep with paranormal, I'm putting air quotes here, paranormal celebrities, or someone that is using the paranormal to gain fame, which is a joke. personally. It's hilarious. And developed by my amazing friend Scott Grunwald. And he kind of took it and ran with it. You know, he called himself a para-whore because he just loves the paranormal. And so I had like this basically smear campaign against me, and people were calling me a para-whore out of nowhere. But that's another story for another time. And basically my friend Scott was like, hey, how'd you like to be the face of para-whore? I'm like, fuck yeah, that's right. So make fun of me, bitches. I'll become the face of the new clothing line, you know?
That's great.
Yeah, but I love it. We've taken the term back. I'm a para-whore, and I love it.
Be proud of that.
I am.
I just have a couple more questions. Have you seen Elvis lately, and how's he doing?
I have not. Oh, I actually have an awesome story about that. I haven't seen Elvis personally, but my Nana did when she was in Ireland, I think in the late 80s or early 90s. They were driving back from a Ceilidh dance, and in the middle of Ireland, like Connemara, and all of a sudden they're driving on the side of the road. They see a guy dressed like Elvis just walking on the side. It was like pitch dark, really dangerous. And as they pass him, they turn around to look in the mirror, and he's not there anymore. So I think my Nana definitely saw the ghost of Elvis in Ireland.
Would she be disappointed if she found out it was the ghost of an Elvis impersonator? It's like, I still saw a ghost, but not the one I wanted.
Yeah, right.
That is hilarious. Oh my God.
And I know you probably can't talk about it too much, but you had an extra role in Ghostbusters. So did you meet Bill Murray?
No, I wish. That's like on my list, but no. I will meet him one day. I'm determined. No, but it was a super fun time. I can't talk about it really.
Right. No, I
but
understand.
It's going to be a great movie. It's going to be awesome. And I got to shake some hands, and it was pretty fucking awesome. So,
Yeah. If you could be any type of candy bar, what candy bar would you be and why?
ooh, that's a good question.
That's going to be a staple in the show going forward. You're our first interviewee, and so I'm just testing the question out. But yeah, going forward, I figured this was the first good point to break it out.
I like it. I like it a lot. I would be, let's see. It sucks because I can't have my favorite candy anymore because since going on my crazy diet and stuff like that. So I'm trying to think. What would I be? I would probably be a Snickers because it's like a Milky Way and a Three Musketeers, but it's a little nuts. You know what I mean? And I'm a little nuts as well. So.
That's actually a great answer. We've asked that question previously. Jesse and I actually have had some fun asking that question, and you always get a great answer as to why they would be that type of candy.
Yeah, it's a couple different bars in one, but it's also just a little nuts, and it's like me.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Jesse, do you have anything else for Miss Tina here?
I was wondering if you guys are good ghost hunters. I need you to start coming to my stand-up shows because I think my audiences are haunted.
Oh, definitely. We would love to come.
Oh my God, that was so terrible.
Oh yeah, I know. I had to.
You're such a hilarious comic. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I go. I will definitely
I went
go.
with the boo.
That's hilarious. I'm all about the puns, man. All about I'm a bad, I have dad jokes. That's my
The
humor.
rage a good pun can incite in someone is just, it's joyful. It's not about making someone laugh. It's about how mad you can make them with what you
I
say.
know. People get so angry. I'm like, oh, you're just angry because I'm fucking clever. That's all. Go fuck yourself.
I was getting screamed at by my boss the other day. And he was like, you got to just slow down. You're Russian. And I was like, I'm Irish, Bob. And he was like, you know what? I was mad at you before, and now I'm pissed.
That's hilarious. Wait, no, where's your stand-up shows? I want to go. That's really cool.
I'm around Bossa. You can look me up on Facebook. I have my
look you
dates and
up.
stuff up there.
Yeah, me and PXP, we're always looking for something new to do. Me and Rachel, she's my bestie. She's my soulmate. We're meant to be, and she's just like my sister. And we're always looking to go out and support, local artists and something fun to do. So we'll definitely go and check it out, man.
Well, I know Jesse's got a show coming up next month, actually about a month away, on the 21st in Quincy. So as soon as I get deets, I will pass them on to you.
That got
show.
changed to the 20th.
Oh, that's fine. 20th, 21st,
Friday
no
the
big deal.
20th.
Friday the 20th. Good to know. I will write that down.
All right, and so I guess the last question I have to ask: if we were a Tinder profile, if Misguided Musings was a Tinder profile, would you swipe left or right?
Which one's the yes way? I would swipe.
I'm pretty sure you want to swipe right.
Swipe right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while. I had Tinder for a long time, but it's been a long time. I deleted that shit. It was scary. But I would definitely swipe right. I'd try to be a match with you guys. Yep.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, Tina, thank you. Everybody, you can find Tina on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
You can find PXP on Facebook. I'm sure they're also on Instagram and Twitter.
Yes, we are all over the place. Paranormal Expeditions. And then I'm under Tina Store. It's very hard not to find us,
Yeah, right. Well, I'm sure that one link on the one page link sends you to another page to another page.
Oh yeah, it's like down the rabbit hole. So don't
right,
worry.
pageception, I call it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate all the time that you were able to give us. And do you have anything else that you would like to say before we head out?
I guess happy haunting, and hopefully everyone has a happy Halloween. Oh.
All right. Well, great. Thank you, Tina, for everything. And
thank you.
Well, how about that interview, guys? That was really something from Miss Tina Storer. And again, like she said, you can go to Facebook and look up Paranormal Expeditions with an X, no E. Give them a like on Facebook and follow some of their other pages. I was not expecting Casper the Friendly Ghost to be based on a true story. I was a little shocked at that.
Yeah, that was surprising. She had legitimate answers for even the most bullshit of questions. The Elvis one I was surprised she even had a story with, too.
Very, very weird to have someone be able to actually truthfully answer questions that really, when we come up with them, we're like, this is going to be a stupid question, but we have to ask it.
It makes me want to believe in ghosts.
Okay, guys, so let's get to the candy draft. What I've done is I've come up with a list of 20 different candies we must choose from. It's me, Jesse, Matt, and Tom. And we will pick one candy that we would like and one candy that we don't like from the list. The list is as follows. Milky Way, Hershey's Original, M&M's, Peanut M&M's, because nobody really wants those, Mounds, Almond Joy, the lesser liked coconut candy, Sweet Tarts, Reese's Cups, Three Musketeers, Snickers, Junior Mints, York Peppermint Patties, Twix, Kit Kat, Skittles. Now here's the shit list. Bit-O-Honey, raisins, candy corn, pretzels, and sugar babies.
None of which you can actually die from eating, though.
I'm pretty sure you could die from eating all those.
I mean, sugar babies just sounds like it's just like a cube of sugar or something.
It's actually like a gross, weird
Sugar babies.
like molasses.
Pedophilia's choice for candy.
It's really not that great. Anyway,
Right back to it.
we are going to pick, and the premise behind this is if you had to pick only two candies that would fill your whole bag, which grape candy would you pick, and which candy that sucks the least would you pick? It is a snaking draft, so Tom will be the last to pick the good candy, but the first to pick the shitty candy, leaving me with probably the worst of the two choices of shitty candies. Are we ready?
Ready.
Okay, Jordan is on the board, and the pick is in. With the first pick in the 2015 Halloween Candy Draft, Jordan chooses Reese's Cups. Ladies and gentlemen, Reese's Cups are off the board.
Good choice. My first pick in the 2015 Halloween Candy Draft will be Milky Ways. Those are now
Milky
off the
Ways.
board.
Those are the ones that taste closest to Mars bars. I like those. What am I going to choose? Well, from what I hear, supposedly if you do eat them and then go down on a woman that could cause orgasms, I'm going to choose York Peppermint Patties.
I'm kind of concerned that you can't let your woman orgasm by yourself without the assistance.
don't think it's your peppermint patties either. I think you're thinking of like an old Altoids thing you might have read in like Maxim or something.
I love how you credit the candy with the orgasm.
Total credit to the candy.
Well, I mean,
so
have you ever seen the commercials? Because the commercials, I mean, it looks like every time somebody's biting into one, they have an orgasm. You know what I mean?
right, but they end up on the top of a mountain.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
That's the candy that I would give somebody who I don't like, because
All right.
then they would never have to see them again. And then when they eat the other half of the candy, they end up back on top of the mountain. It's like the perpetual worst thing you could ever end up happening to somebody.
Well,
Or you can find out their allergy and then give them, like, if they're allergic to peanuts, give them a peanut bar.
Oh,
you know?
come on.
All right,
I'm waiting for the
Tom,
first
You know what,
parents to
Tom?
sue.
Tom, you're on the clock.
All right.
First pick.
My 2015 candy draft pick, round one, is going to be Sweet Tarts. Got to be.
Oh wow,
That's your round one pick?
that is such a waste of a round one pick. But you know what?
It's like picking up a kicker in the first round.
Oh, God. Tom, your choices tonight, oh, my God, is making me rethink this whole friendship.
Hey, listen, you've been my friend for a long time. You know all about me and my tastes in candy and movies.
Idiosyncrasies is
So,
all coming out now.
well,
Next
Tom-
time I'm going to know, you're going to be like, you thought I was an ass man, but I'm actually a armpit man. And we'll just see videos of you
boy.
watching people fucking armpits.
All right. Well, listen, I'm also I have the first in round two, so I'm going. Or is this like the last round? I guess
This
this
is-
is
yeah.
the worst candy. So we're skipping all that middle stuff. I'm going straight with. Oh God, I guess I'm going with Bit of Honey. Don't like it. I could eat the raisins, the candy corn, and the pretzels, but I don't know. Bits of Honey is like a cereal, I think, right?
No, it's like a weird candy that has like nuts and stuff in it.
No,
I think.
I'm pretty sure it's a cereal.
I'm pretty sure Bit of Honey's like on a fucking stick.
No, I'm pretty sure you can buy that at the cereal aisle.
I'm gonna have
It's
to
like the
Google it
little
and send you a
bee.
picture.
Commercial with a little bee.
No, that's Cheerios.
Honey Nut
Okay,
Cheerios.
Matt, you're on the clock.
All right, so I'm gonna go with pretzels for 400.
This is not Jeopardy, Matt.
Okay. I will. I'm going with pretzels because, well, they make me thirsty and they fuel my alcoholism. So they do have a purpose. Go ahead.
Damn it. I was going to do pretzels. The salty and sweet actually mixes good together sometimes.
You know, there's a bodily fluid that.
I don't know the taste.
We're talking about candy, you know.
We're
We're
it.
moving into bodily fluids, guys. Hold on.
So Jesse, you're on the clock.
Fantastic. I'm going to go candy corn. It's classic, but it tastes like shit, but it's not raisins. It's not.
It's not raisins. That's right. There's some sugar in there.
I'm literally left with sugar babies.
So you're either a pedophilia or you're a racist.
I'm left with sugar babies or raisins. This could not have gone any worse for me.
Hey, you got the first pick. That's what happens, man.
I think in an effort to be healthier, I'm going to go with raisins.
There we go.
Rat droppings.
Loves
Yeah,
those
with
raisins.
the final pick of the 2015 Halloween candy draft, my terrible choice is raisins. Only because we couldn't put toothbrushes or erasers on the list.
Oh my God, yeah. You ever get a toothbrush while you were trick or treating as a kid?
You
was
egged that house
infuriating.
so hard.
You ever get an apple? Never give a kid something that can so easily go through a window.
I know, right?
Or a razor blade inside of the apple. You crunch on it. You go the second crunch sound, and it's your like esophagus getting ripped up.
You know, there was just some asshole that went apple picking like that week and just has all these leftover apples and was just like, you know, have an apple, kid.
You're like, I was just there for the apple cider donuts like everybody else.
Or like the fat kid that gets a hypodermic needle along with the candy, and they're just like, well, you'll probably need this as well to go along with the candy.
You do realize that's a myth, right? The only time anyone's ever had anything in their candy, their own parents put it in.
I thought he was talking about like insulin or something.
Yeah, no, I think.
I thought he was going the insulin route there.
Yeah, I was too, but
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm
thought
pretty
he
sure
was
I don't
just
want to go
putting
trick or
stuff in
treating at
candy
Matt's
again.
house. Is really what it
Yeah,
comes
it's-
down to.
I'm not going trick or treating at your house, Matt.
So,
Got Rooflin, Molly.
guys, Speaking of that, let's do a little quick. Did you guys see that the police have sent out a picture on Facebook of little skulls and dice and dominoes that are actually shaped ecstasy, and they're telling you that if you get a package of it, not to give it to your kids. I urge you to give it to your kids and see what happens, because, oh my god, I want to see what like a 12-year-old on ecstasy would be like. I think it'd be hilarious. I'm kidding, of course. I really don't do that.
I don't know. I'm a parent, and like that, I don't know. Like my jaw is just slightly agape right now.
I wouldn't mind watching someone else's child, like, you know.
No, that could be like a. Did you ever see like the Jimmy? Is it Jimmy Kimmel that does the thing? He's like he does the kids, and he's like, "Hey, we ate all your Halloween candy," and he has the reaction of all the kids.
Yes,
like,
Jimmy Kimmel,
oh my
yeah.
god, you stole my candy! It's hilarious, but it would be funny if it was ecstasy.
Or if like the parent took the ecstasy by accident. And it's like, I ate all your Halloween candy while they're tripping balls. Literally, folks, though, if you get any weird bags of candy that look self-packaged,
drop them off at Matt's home. Hey guys, I'm taking the weekend off. Might not be able to do the next show. I'm going to be tripping for a month. I'm going to be tripping on good vibrations with my good old buddy, Brian Wilson.
Although I will say the fact that free ecstasy is being handed out at Halloween makes me want to go trick-or-treating again.
Yeah, not the most...
As an adult, it's great.
Not very entrepreneurial, those drug people, huh?
Just free samples are what hooks you, man.
And then you start to
blue
have withdrawals. Yeah, it's not good. I figured we would end this week's episode here with just some kind of memorable thoughts from our own childhoods, from our own experiences when we were kids. And so one of the things that I think of when I think of Halloween and I look back as a kid is, going out with my dad and my brothers and my sister trick-or-treating, and then getting home, and we had to like give my dad the bag of candy so he could go through it and make sure that nobody poisoned us or there was no razor blades. And he always pretended to do this real good job of checking the packages to make sure there was nothing in them. And then as I got older, I realized this motherfucker is going through all of my candy and that I like got in my pillowcase that I had to carry around in my neighborhood. And he's taking the best candy for himself. What the fuck is that all about?
That's it's a benefit of being a parent.
But you know what's great? I'm going to do it to my kid. When my daughter is old enough to go and carry around a sack of candy by herself, I'm totally going to go through and be like, ooh,
no, and Jordan,
piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
Your parents were smart because they realized, the more children you have, the more candy they can, technically inspect for, intact wrappers and razor blades and such. Like, if you have one kid, that's only one pillowcase haul. I mean, if you got 7 kids, that's a 7 pillowcase haul. That's crazy. That's crazy candy.
So that's why that myth still exists. People know for a fact that doesn't actually happen to people, but parents still use the excuse with their kids so they can look through it and pick their favorites.
So to make sure that people are still listening, to refer back to an earlier point in the episode, is that why the Duggars had 19 kids?
Yeah, that's exactly why that candy haul, man.
I mean, I don't even actually think they go trick-or-treating because the girls would have to wear
the only candy
costumes
that was being
go down below their ankles.
The spookiest.
The only candy that was being hauled in that family was candy from the strip joint back to a hotel room.
Lots of Altoids, huh? Altoids in the butthole.
It's actually kind of a fond memory because now I realize that my dad was like not protecting me and making sure that I was going to live, but really just taking a shitload of Reese's Cups and Smarties and all the other stuff that he liked and eating it for himself, which is pretty fun. What else do you guys? Any thoughts from you guys from when you were younger?
For me, I grew up in Plymouth when I was a little kid, so in our neighborhood, everyone kind of went all out for Halloween, and there was one family in particular that would put like a haunted house in their yard for Halloween. They would set it up so you would go all the way like around the backyard, and their friends would come by and dress up, so it was really cool. It was like a haunted house you didn't have to pay for. You just had to go, and they'd give you a ton, like you'd get candy 3 or 4 times by walking through their yard. So I wanted to do something fun, and decided to dress up as a scarecrow and sit on my front porch and then scare trick-or-treaters as they came by. Because they think you're just a decoration, and then you jump up and scream, and the joy of scaring groups of other people's kids. It's unmeasured.
That's awesome. We gotta do trick or treating with you more often.
It's a good time. You see about 6 kids walking up, they're about to have a blast, and then they see the scarecrow get up and go, "Bah!" And they just fucking bolt.
Well, the scarecrows aren't like necessarily scary either. It's just the fact that it's not moving, and then all of a sudden it's like attacking you.
Yeah, they think it's a decoration, and then it jumps up and yells at them.
Get off my lawn, kids!
Oh, that would be great if I just townie insulted it and just popped up and was like, "Fuck you!" and they just ran away. I'll just do that now. I'll dress as the scarecrow, and instead of scaring them, I'll just chastise them, question their life decisions. Like, what are you supposed to be? You don't even look anything like Iron Man. What are you, a fruit? Get the fuck out of here. No candy for you. Get over here. You're getting raisins. Not in the box. Handful.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, I do have a story about how we used to bob for apples in the water and how I thought it was a form of waterboarding. And, that's one of the reasons why I hate Halloween. The waterboarding.
Was your dad like shoving your head into the water and saying, "Get an apple, Matt.
Get some fucking apples, you cunt."
Matt,
So
I think your parents just waterboarded you and then said it was bobbing for apples.
Oh, well, I guess it worked.
I hope they was it to get some sort of information out of you, or was it just for their pleasure, or?
It was to make me an honest lad, I guess. It didn't really work. It'll just make you say anything.
Tom, what do you got from your childhood about Halloween that really brings it home?
Well, it's not really, I guess, Halloween. It's kind of like October-ish, I guess. But when I was a kid, I have a cat. My family had a cabin up in Maine on an island, and there was it's kind of more of a spooky story, I guess. We'd go
spectacular.
Nope.
So we'd go up there, and there was there's like really tight on the island, kind of, and behind us there was this cabin, and you could see kind of into it from my cabin, but
Tom's cabin.
I don't think it was Uncle Tom's cabin.
There it is.
We were waiting for it, and it just appeared. Anyway, but you would look in at night, and you could never tell if the light was coming from your cabin or if the light was coming from inside. And we used to walk up to it in the day and look inside, and like the furniture would always be, or it's not the furniture, I guess, but like the things that were in there were being moved around like every once in a while. And I come to find out that it was just like a shed. It wasn't a cabin.
Not a cabin at all.
It was just some dude's storage shed, and like me and my brother and my sister were all freaked out, and we thought it was like haunted, or that some weird dude was living in there, like literally steps behind our cabin, like watching us and stuff. And it was just a shed.
Spooky way of living, man.
Oh man, yeah,
That's crazy. Well, I guess that wraps it up for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up this episode of Misguided Musings. You can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Misguided Musings.
Fuck it.
You can find us on Twitter at Musing Podcast. We are brought to you exclusively on the Gear Network. You can find us on iTunes and Spreaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a fuck it.
You know what makes me say, "Oh, fuck it"? People with umbrellas in Boston. I don't know if it's the same in Boston as it is for any other U.S. city or any other international city or whatever other planet that has this invention that is supposed to protect you from getting wet. But I'll tell you something. People do not know how to use an umbrella. This invention has been out since 4,000 years. I believe it was created back in the Roman time, before Christ. And they still don't know how to use this invention. I swear to God, you see people in the streets of Boston during a windy, rainy day, and they can't even hold it upright, and the thing goes flying in the air, and all of a sudden you think, "Oh my God, there's Mary Poppins." Nope, it's fucking umbrella coming right down on you. Boom, plop in the head, falling down in the sea. It's dangerous, man. And then not just, you gotta watch out for flying and umbrellas hitting you. You also gotta worry how people hold it. Have you ever seen somebody in Boston hold an umbrella? They hold it like it's a fucking bayonet. Like they've joined some sort of fucking militia or some sort. They never hold it down when they don't need it. They always hold it up. And they don't even hold it like a rifle. They hold it like they're coming in to, like, stab you. The other week, I could not cannot believe it. The amount of people I saw getting stabbed by the pointy end of an umbrella. It was ridiculous. And nobody cares anymore. Where's the lawsuits? The outrage? Everybody's just like, oh, that's dealing with the rain in Boston. It got to my nerve last week when I came home, and I must have been drunk because I was drunk, I had a few drinks, and I happened to look down and see, when I went to go take a pee, or it could have been a poop, and I looked down and I saw blood, and I'm like, oh my god, oh shit, I must have hemorrhoids, or, maybe it's a time of the month for me. But no, it wasn't. It was somebody with an umbrella while I was standing up, probably drunk, or probably sitting down for a while. Sometimes you sit down and work, your ass gets numb, that stabbed me right in my anus. And, I just, it's my anal virginity, and it was taken by a fucking umbrella stick. Not by a hot babe, not by anal beads, by a fucking umbrella. And you know what I said? I said, fuck it. And I didn't even get off.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to Misguided Musings, brought to you exclusively by the Gear Network. Happy Halloween.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network. Hey, Don, how's it going?
Living the dream. I'm actually just getting ready to do this commercial.
Oh, you mean the commercial where I tell our listeners to tune into Gear Network every week to listen to our show, Get Ready America? That one?
Yeah, John, that's the one.
They can also listen to us talk about news, sports, whatever's on our minds, that...
And a little what's on our listeners' minds, but they're just too nice to say it.
Well, that, Dawn, is a real humdinger.
Humdinger.
Come join us this and every week for Get Ready America exclusively on the Gear Radio Network.
And the Gear Network app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I am Ryan Wolf.
it's Mr. Perez.
And I have a question for you, Perez.
What's your question?
Do you like to listen to people talk about sports?
No. Of course I like sports and listening to people talk about sports.
Well, guess what? I have the perfect solution for you.
Solution for me?
There's a podcast on this very network.
This network?
Every single week you can hear it.
Really?
New content, latest and breaking news. We talk about baseball, football, hockey, basketball, soccer, UFC, whatever you want to talk about.
So sports in general.
They talk about sports in general. You got it.
I like it.
You know the dictionary.
I like
it.
Very
proud of you.
Thank you.
I must say, tune in. We are Better Live Than Dead.
You're not.
Every single week. You're not going to want to miss it. Exclusively here on the Gear Radio Network.